George Carstensen Lutterodt. He's a counselor. He's been doing this for many years. Thank you very much for your time. Good morning to you.
Good morning, and how are you doing?
I am doing well. I don't know why Eric decided to write your whole name out. It doesn't make you sound Ghanaian at all. Cyril George Carstensen Lutterodt.
Well, there are two out.
There are two out?
Yes.
Which ones?
Well, you just asked me. You don't know why I have brought all my names. So when I add the two, then I'm complete.
Okay.
Which is not too fine with you. So I won't.
Okay, so which two are out?
I will not bring the two out. I'm keeping it till I die. Well, the obituary will bear the full name for the purpose of my will and my testament for my wife to feel free.
What if during the discussion when you have passed on, one of your children argues that your name will be too long, so they shouldn't add those two? Would it not be better if you set the record, then this one, it will stay forever?
Well, all my documents bear all the names.
So you have 6 names in total?
That's my father's mistake, but I'm a son. You know, there are 3 events on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage, death, naming. Marriage, you have a say.
Yes.
On who you want to marry and how you want the colors of your marriage to be. As for the choice of marriage, whether you want a civil marriage, customary marriage, Mohammedan marriage, usually it's determined by the woman, by the plan she has for you in future. A majority of the Ghanaian women, their plan is to be the only wife, die as the only wife, live as the only wife. So customary happens only by the highly intellectual men. Now, naming ceremony, you don't determine the name they give you unless you grow to come and work and become Reverend, Doctor, His Excellency, Fetish Priest, Apostle. That is what you acquire on earth. And you know, as usual, the casket is bought by the one who doesn't use it. So the only time you have a say regularly is when I get you married. So my name was given to me by my father. And I saw him saying, this is your name, as I was growing. When I hyphenated, I used initials. He calls me and asks me, do I know what I'm doing is not my name? So I like my name. And I'm very proud when intelligent people can mention my full name, especially the Carstensen. So far, we are just 6 that are writing those names. And the 6 came as a result of me. The one who was first passed on. Okay. And I became the only one. And by virtue of my production, I've given one to a child who is an Ewe. So if you hear an Ewe writing Carstensen, I gave it to my school son who wanted to name his son after me. And my son has it. And I have plans to have another child somewhere who will be a male. And I'll give that child to Carstensen. So this is my plan.
Why did you do customary marriage, or you did you went the Christian way?
Well, there's nothing called Christian marriage, and I keep saying this on your show.
Okay.
We have only 3 marriages. Just that the church deceived us that this one we are doing for the government, it's a Christian marriage.
Okay.
And they got some of us to do it until we augmented what is in our mind. But what is on paper remains so.
I see. Very interesting views. Early morning like this, I just ask you one.
I see. You say I see.
No, I just asked a simple question on your name and the philosophy you just... Anyway, having said that, because you mentioned the issue of marriage, this morning we're discussing an MP's proposal that we should pass a bill which makes paternity test compulsory on the birth of a child. Do you agree?
Thank you very much. Greetings to Radio Gold members. This year we've not spoken because
yes,
you've gotten enough and you've left to be here. But thank God I've been remembered. I am as old as the station. I will make it, no matter who comes 2 weeks ago. This issue, if you ask me, I'm running a program called Paternity Fraud, Its Effect on Marriage and Relationship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think for for the past 8 months, it's given me a lot of enlightenment, especially when I went to the US. I made a statement that Ghanaian women are very honest. Number two, Ghanaian women are very decent. I made a statement because in my program, as a biomedical scientist, I've dealt with a lot of paternity issues. I just discovered that there are some twins that their fathers are two. I don't know if there's some yet in Ghana, but in one of my courses I read in the States, a case was brought out, and the twins happened to have two different fathers. One of the fathers were found, and the other one was still in space. We're looking for him. I did a course where people are as old as 54, 24, 34, and they're looking for who their father is because their mother posed a certain man as their father. So now, in the States, it works. Now, if you ask me, should we do it here? We are not yet ripe and matured for it.
Why do you say so?
Idea, but I'll explain why. There are a lot of paternity fraud issues. And when I use paternity fraud, it's just like what I want to say is that men having children that are not there. So that's what I mean by the fraud. There are a lot of maternity fraud issues that the women are innocent. From where I sit in the hospital, and some hospitals I've worked, and I'm still working. I am a practical example I see every day. When my daughter was delivered, there was a swap, not deliberate, not intentional, but it was unintentional.
A swap?
Yes.
An unintentional swap?
Yes. I have witnessed more than 24. The last one was the 24th one I counted, of a swap that was corrected by birthmark in a very good, well-structured, in quote, hospital. This is the issue. When delivery is done, all we do is to open the reproductive organ to the woman in the labor ward or on the theater table if it's CS and tell the woman, this is your child. Now, what happens is that the gender is what is in the memory of the woman lying down. This is how it's done everywhere. Thanks be to Dr. Will Smith then and Cyril of blessed memory on a program called Public Concern. I hope you remember there was a program like that.
Public Concern?
Yes, at the British Council Hall.
Okay.
I fought name tag for staff, especially of Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and name tag for babies. And it was implemented as some time ago. So the good thing is that currently, that error I saw, which is still there, is augmented by the name tag. But still, there are errors happening. So there are babies that are living with their mothers today, that their mothers never cheated or had any extramarital relationship or any extra sexual relationship with any other man. But unknowingly, the babies were swapped, not deliberately, in the hospital. Because when babies are born fresh, usually their skin color looks same. Now, when transporting babies from the labor ward, usually distributing them into their various wards, the baby cot is supposed to be one baby, one cot, one pink card. Unfortunately, 3 babies are put in one cot because they are small. And a nurse who may be usually student nurses in almost all the hospitals in Ghana, they do most of those jobs, are given the opportunity to distribute the babies alongside their mothers. They are suddenly on the same floor, but different rooms. This is where the error happens. The last one I saw was a woman who was placed in the side ward and was about to change the diaper of the baby after she gained consciousness. She called the doctor and said, "This is not my child, because when my baby was shown to me, I saw a birthmark that is on my thigh, on her thigh, even though she's a girl, but this is not mine." The doctor has to rush. That day, there were 3 girls that were delivered within that time. Fortunately, the one that was given to her, the mother was still gaining consciousness. So we looked for the baby with the mark, according to her. Even though the name was tagged on, that was a mistake. And we brought the baby to the mother. So imagine, she didn't have a mark. It means that during the tagging, there had been a swap, not deliberate. Not anybody wants to do any mischief. So my issue is, before we get to a stage where we want to do a DNA, instant, right after birth, our facilities must be upgraded, where fathers can be in the environment during delivery of their babies, so that clarity is brought. If not, we shouldn't try this now. Because as I speak, I don't know if you have any idea of, especially the largest hospital that delivers children are public hospitals as compared to the private ones. The majority of our clients go to the public hospitals for delivery. Even the private ones, when there are complications, they rush them to the best place, which are the public hospitals. How many spaces do we see that fathers are allowed to come to the labor ward? It's not done.
Yeah, that's true.
Because our spaces are not friendly. We are having congestion at the labor ward. A table that must take 10. At labor ward, we are taking more than 20. So some deliveries are done on the floor. And let me say a big thank you to most midwives who will use one posture to deliver just to make sure the mother and baby are safe. They end up with spondylosis, majority of them, because of posture. But that is in Ghana. And we'll say mother and child on the floor. We want baby out. So if you want to do paternity in a state, paternity is part of the set of kits that is taken to the delivery bay. So when you are delivering, you have the kit there. The sample is taken in front of the father, who was there when wife was pushing, assisting to rub the back so she will push. Unfortunately, it can't happen in Ghana. So it's a good deal. It's a good request. But we need to find a way to deal with what we call 2% medical error in our system, at least to 1.8, by creating facilities that you are sure that a sample was taken in front of you and there was no error during the transportation. So now let me tell you one truth. I have a case I'm dealing with, which is paternity fraud. It was done by IVF. You all know IVF, in vitro fertilization. So the man is in the UK and has a young lady that his sperm he cannot transport the sperm because the speed is down. You know, there are only 3 things you do with sperm. Either it goes faster because it has a head and a tail, or he stands at one side because it can't swim, or it is immobile because it is not strong sperm. So the man brought in the sperm. The lab people said it was good. The count was okay. During fertilization, according to them, he had 32 embryos. It was put in the woman's cervix. Babies were born. 3 boys came out. They are 9 years then. Now he wants to file for them. Home Office requested for DNA. I say, not they say. 3 children. None of them are for the man who brought his own sperm.
I see.
What's happening? They took the sample to SA. Same. Took it to UK. Same. The man had been told to be a liar. But he brought the sperm. Doing investigation beyond, a lab guy told them that he has to boost the sperm that he said was good. Whether it's true, whether it's a lie, It means that there was a swap of a sample doing what the man has discharged to them. So today, these three boys are still in that African country I'm talking about. And they can't go. The man has been marked to come and say the truth. He has to go to court so that the lab company, the IVF company, goes to testify in their error. It cannot be done. So look at this error till today. I remember what the wife told me. The wife told me, "Counsellor, God bless you." She didn't give me money, but she said, "God bless you," because when they were going to send the sample of the man, I insisted the man should come because of what I've gone through before. If the man didn't come to discharge, what do you think will happen to this woman? That she has cheated on the man, especially the man in UK. So I'm saying this to battle my point that I have seen a lot of women who are innocent, but their children are not for their husband. It's not to justify that people are not cheating on their husbands. No. I am saying it. And I am a witness to my own daughter that mistakenly was shown to me. And when I came back, a different one was left for me. And I have to correct and pick my thing. So I'm saying this, that if you want paternity test done, we need to build structures well, where father will be present or a trustee will be present, sample taking, sample gathered, results brought, because sample can be taken, but it cannot be gathered. So results can be diluted. So it's a good bill. It will bring a lot of records that we want to set straight. Because as we speak, there are a lot of men who have told me they will not. As if I'm going to talk today. Yesterday in the evening, a very good, prominent friend of mine just had a shock of his life on this DNA thing. Serious one. He's been disgraced everywhere that he has gone to have a child. He's been forced to marry the woman. He said he will not do. He lost his work in a radio station, only to find out yesterday that the child is not his. But the woman says it's for him. And everything has been done. And you see, the funny thing is that the resemblance is there, but the child is not for him.
But in this case, what happens? Because you were just talking about the situation with possible swaps. In order to confirm whether or not what the woman is saying is true, her denial, her insistence that he is the father of the child, whether to confirm that, what is usually done in this case?
Usually what we do is that we do the chromosomes of the mother. Having said that, there are many cases where we all know that it's paternity is a DNA, so it's a paternity. The father's higher chromosomes is more in the baby, so your test is seen more. The woman's own is still done, but it's difficult ascertaining. That system, I'm yet to find it more in this part of our world. So when the child is not for the man and the woman has not gone anywhere, I did one in a certain clinic in Ghana. The lady delivered and there were only 3 kids on the date of delivery. So what we did was to trace, that was just about 3 months, to see those babies that were delivered, where are they? Are you aware that when the DNA was done, one of the child was somewhere and the child was brought back?
I see.
But the child now who has citizenship out of Ghana, Aceh, 85 more. It's not. There was a politician whose son fought to climb to the top, and the other siblings were making noise, especially the elder sister. Who agree, Senna. And they forced that they should do a DNA because they are saying that the rather younger one is not the child of the father. Are you aware when they took the sample and they swapped with the older sister and the third born? The last born was for the father. The DNA denied the bigger sister. So unfortunately, the bigger sister rather who was making noise was not the father of the child, of the child or the father.
That's quite an
So
interesting situation.
this paternity thing, after going deep into this paternity fraud course I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
I say it's a good call. But we need logistics
Okay.
and we need facilities and we need to, one, police sample when taking, police sample during the process, police sample after the result. The other thing I will beg that we even do this now, that currently the way radio stations and churches and other facilities are requesting for DNA. I know in the laws it's illegal though, but some people have been fought, insulted because they have a certain result from certain centers, which I cannot testify they are wrong or they are right. One they say is the DNA results. Why not? But remember, if the reagent has expired, if one of the reagents is expired, you might have a result which is not correct. Because the reagent must last only for 90 days. It's expensive to the extent that when you buy it, within 90 days, you'll not be able to finish the 3 gallons. You'll be tempted to use it. So if we really want to do this, there are a lot of structures we need to build. But till then, I think we are not ready for it. Ghana, especially. We are not ready for it all. And this, by force, everybody should run a DNA on their family members, tell them they should relax. So if an embassy requests for it and it doesn't sit right with you, stay in your country before you start a BP mentality. Because I still believe there are some faithful women who will not take an action of sleeping with somebody else. And if it happens that a woman does it, it doesn't mean she's wicked. Some bring the pregnancy unknowingly because whilst you were, having a relationship with her before marriage, another guy too was eating, which was not wrong because until you are married, you can't cheat. So I'm having sexual intercourse with her and he's having sexual intercourse with Eric. That's a choice, just like what we all do. But because we don't get pregnant, we don't know. We are marrying our wife. The day we are marrying our wife, we go and have sexual intercourse with our girlfriend and end the relationship. But when my wife goes to do it, she might come to me with pregnancy before the marriage. So there are times that both of us are eating and the women are confused. Who ate and left, didn't wash, or who washed and left some mark. So it's not that they intentionally brought you a child to father, even though some do. So this conversation, I love it. But if we don't discuss it well, we'll always leave hurt and pain in the heart and the mind of families. But if you're listening to me on Radio Gold 90.5, and you have brought a child to your husband and you want to announce it, I'll help you do it. That there will not be any confusion.
I see. Always a pleasure talking to you, and thank you. Thank you very much for the education.
Well, as usual, Senna, you always know I'm always responsible for my comment and my statement. And like I said, if you have already done it and you want your husband not to know, or you want to do one because you are not too sure that your husband can put to birth, you know that it happened in the Bible. Senna, you read the Bible all the time. I know you know the Bible very well. Between Sarah and Abraham, Bible says in the book of Genesis 3 verse 16, and in the 10th year, Sarah, realizing that she cannot put to birth, married her maid servant, Hagar, to Abraham. When Hagar got pregnant, then the realization of Sarah came that the problem is not Abraham, but the problem is herself. So there are women that are going through childlessness, and they want to try and see, is it me or my husband? If you've done one of them, and your Ishmael is out, and you don't know how to announce it before you go and do a DNA, call me on 0277. Counseling is important to announce this thing. 609-644. If you have a child out of wedlock, or you're giving somebody's child who is a girl to an airway to be called Senna instead of Mako, please call me 0277 609 644. But the tradition of Ewes are not the same like the cars.
His name is Cyril George Carstensen Lutterodt. He's a counselor, he's a minister, and also a biomedical science. Is it? How do I say?
Biomedical clinical engineer.
Oh, fantastic! Oh,
Yes,
wonderful
you.
to speak to you this morning, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Stella.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
He joined us on the line. A very interesting perspective is brought to the discussion, and that's fantastic. Looking at the peculiar Ghanaian situation. This is our brother Henry. Henry says, these days, technology makes it possible to determine paternity weeks into pregnancy. Boys should not wait till the baby is born. But I do agree with George that serious errors happen during testing. Hence, the need for second and third opinions. So, very interesting dimension is brought to the discussion. Taking us to 8 minutes past 8. We